To the first two questions, are you can you see my screen right now? Okay, and I wish that you can hear my voice. So the voice is okay, and please be acknowledged that this meeting is recorded. Okay, last time we talked about code convention. In the first part, we talked about how to design class, low-level design, and what should be the naming of the class, and what should be the expected exposed in interface of the class, and what is the meaning of interface of the class, or something like that. And for today, we are going to the example of variable. So what is a variable? It's just like when you write the program, when you develop the code, there's always a variable, right? Just like this, it's a simple scenario. I equal to 1, int I equal to 0, blah blah blah. String s equal to some kind of string input. So the variable is like there's something. It's a simple thing that existing in every programming language, and every program we need to use a variable to make some kind of calculating, define some type, and use it for data manage how the data should be. So in the idea of code convention, the variable can be represented as a data to calculate or data type issue. The thing is that when we talk about variable, we need to concern when we create a variable, what data type we should use, and then we are going to talk about the naming and commenting issue in the code. What should be the proper naming and conventioning and comment in the code for the code convention? First, when you name it to variable, the thing that suggested in the code convention is that try to avoid the magic number. Just like this, for I equal to 0 to 99, do some things. Why? Why 99? You have any explanation? You have any idea what should be the 99? If not, I suggest use something else, just like this one. Int student count equal to the length of array, student list array, and then we can use for I equal to 0 until student count do. So this two line of code mean that we are going to loop to all the student in the student array list. This one or this one, which one should be better? I think the second one can give a better insight of what the number is, because when the error happen, for just like for this line, if there are error at I equal to 90, 91, 92, so what is your idea to change or fix this error? Reduce his number to 90, but is that what is the supporting reason? What are you going to do? What you should do? There is no explanation. So the better is that you should give some kind of source of the number, where this number come from inside your source code. Otherwise, it will be difficult for the other people to fix it. And I suggest to use zeros or 1 for starter or incrementer, just like for I equal to 0 to 99. You have any Any question why ones is also suggest here? You have any comment on why I suggest? Normally, when you do programming, you you may start with 0 for the for loop or incrementer. But why inside this one they suggest that just use 1 instead. Have any explanation? You can guess. Okay. If not, some programming language, the incrementer, the arrays indexes, they start at 1. The example will be maybe you may find out. But normally, if the index of array start at 0, normally we use 0. But in some programming language, the index they start at 1. So you need to use 1 as a starting point or for incrementer. And then when we're talking about number, if you have something like y equal to x plus float I, make sure that all the data type is corresponding together. If y is float, x is float, the I normally will be integer as common sense as usual when we talk about the I variable. But if you want to use it as a float, you have to make sure that you convert the type and make it that conversion is clearly understandable. And try to avoid the mixed type comparison. What does this mean? You try to avoid comparing string with the integer. Yes, you cannot. Normally, you cannot do that in Java, but in some other programming language, sometimes you are allowed to create a mixed type comparison. But just trust me, avoid that. Especially when you use it for some kind of decision loop. Just make sure that you don't use a mixed type of variable. Otherwise, you will got a lot of problem in that decision loop. And I will show you very soon. And then you need to make sure you know the limit of the variable that you declare. Just like if you create an 8-bit int, the available range of that variable will be from -128 to 127. If you try to access or to try to assign a value larger than just 130 into this variable for the size range, you will get overflow. Also, if you try to assign 300, the value of 300 into the 8-bit in here, you will also facing some kind of overflow. So make sure that whenever you declare your variable, the proper value range is carefully selected. Otherwise, you will find that the code is working somehow. But when it's going to the limit of that code, when something over the limit without any intention, but some part of calculation, some kind of specific mathematical operation, bring that value to outside of the range, you will find the overflow and the program will crash. So try to make sure that you use the proper value of the proper value range of the variable. Otherwise, your code, your program has a chance of crash without uh, have a higher chance of crash or error inside your program. And then for integer, if you get 7 divided by 10, what it should be the result? This is equal to 0.7. If this is integer and integer, make sure that when you try to create variable and create the operation, you understand it well and you can expect what should be the output of this. And also, that is for a double, but double data type, and here is for the float data type, floating point. So you should avoid addition and subtraction on a number that have very high different magnitude. Just like you try to add 1 million point 0 with 0.1, or you try to subtract this 5 million point 20 by 5 million point 01. Why? Okay, I will show you soon. If needed in the loop, start from smallest value or term, just start from this one and might add by this one. Otherwise, okay, let's see what happened. And try to avoid equality comparison, just like, okay, let's see. Simple Java code. Let's, okay. What happened if what should be the output here? Why the output is 0? Why the output is 0? 7 divided by 10. Output equal to 0. What does this mean? You see, some little error happen when you don't carefully select the proper operation in your program. And I will show you more. What happened? Let's see for this one. If you have, sorry, what should be the result of this for this calculation? What should be the output of I? This is okay. Yes, but if I change to this, it's still working. Oh, it's okay. If this is working, but in some kind of some of this, just like I want this. You see that there are some error existing here. Let's see. Some kind of different digit adding. Okay, for the 8-digit different programming language is evolved, and yes, there are some point here which may not totally correct. And then that is one thing that you have to be careful if you try to add some kind of this number. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. But is it at one at order 11? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, still collect this maybe the new version of Java, but in maybe let's see. It's still collect, but be careful. Actually, in some that will be easier to, I don't know what should I say. Some incremental for different unit of this length, you can get the error. Otherwise, for the floating point, this is the other example, or the floating point that you be careful. Double I equal to 0.3, J equal to 0.2, K equal to 0.3 minus 0.2. If we run this code, what happened? You see that I over J 0.3 over 0.2 is not exact 1.5 here. It's 1.5000 something, and then we have T7250. What happened here? And then also 0.3 minus 0.2. It should be 0.1, but here it's just 0.1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. What happened here? What happened here? Also, if I use this kind of loop in the floating point, you see that? Mhm. Okay, there are duplicated name. No? Okay, let's see. Okay, here, this print out, but this is not printed out. What happened? Because L equal to 0.3 plus 0.2. J and I is equal to 0.3 and 0.2. If this value should be the same, it should be equal, and if this is equal, this one will be printed out. But there's no printed out here. There's some kind of error in this decision loop because L is not totally equal to J plus I. Even J equal to 0.3 plus 0.2 and I equal to 0.3, J equal to 0.2 is not equal. This is a thing that you be careful when you use the floating point number, because this floating point number is not exact value, just the estimated value from the basic binary number. And the explanation, I think it should be on the, actually some of this explanation is already in some other class, but just point out, just to remind you again, this is a thing that you should be careful when you think about data type inside your program that you need to use. And this is the same example here. Also, you can see that if you run this example loop, there are the floating point is not exact number. Sometimes it's just like we have some problem like this. So be sure that whenever you do some kind of operation with floating point, it's error. There will be this kind of error, and be careful when you use it. So the suggestion is that when you use a floating point, try to anticipate the louding error and check the language and library that supports specific data type. Just like if you want to use some kind of currency, you can use currency data type in the Visual Basic or some other programming language. And this is Java example, but it's not just Java. It is, you can try it in Python, just like this. If you have 0.3 divided by 0.2, it's 1.4999. You see that this is not the exact value. So make sure that there are some kind of floating point louding error in every programming language. You should be concerned about this. Okay, about character and string. You should avoid the magic character and string, and know whether environment support Unicode or not. Because if your environment is not support Unicode, some of your printing, some of your string may may not be represented in the proper format. Just like when simple example, the classic example is that when in the website, some kind of website, if you're specifying some proper Unicode, some text display in the foreign language, they may not properly display. They may display in something else that it's not easier to that is not able to understand. And this is a good example of using the Boolean. You can use the Boolean to document the program. Just like if element index is less than 0, or the max element is less than element index, or element index is equal to last element index. This is when you read this code, you can get you can get the idea what this loop is doing, what this decision making loop is expecting, comparing to something like like this. Do you have any idea what should be this kind of value, or what is it? You comparing to implementing the code with this kind of Boolean data, proper Boolean name. This can give the other people can easily understand and get the idea of what this decision look prefer, and you can distribute this kind of things to the other people, and most of your team, your team can easily understand what you're doing instead of this one. Okay, and then yes, if you give a proper Boolean name and proper thing like this, we can simplify the complicated and difficult to understand code into more readable document. And this would be a good code convention. And then you should use enumerator instead of the Boolean. If not if, the thing is, in most of the program, at the starting point, some people use Boolean to represent some fact, but normally when something happens, when more requirement exists and blah blah blah, you cannot use the Boolean anymore. You need the other fact. And then what? Boolean only contains true or false. You cannot add any more logical choice of fact into that. And what happened? You need to arrange everything in your program. But if you start using the enumeration, you can start from right or wrong, true or false, and then you can add the other choice into that enumeration, and it's easier to make a decision making, and you have a more flexible choice of decision. You have you have a lot of better choice to select whatever you want, and is it flexible for the requirement change. It can use as a help as an alternative to Boolean variable is better. And you can reserve the first entry for enumerated type as invalid or something like that. It's better. This is just suggestion for the code convention. And name the constant. Use name constant in the data declaration. Constant, and use the capital letter for the constant name, so it's easier to understand. Just like this example. And the proper variable naming, it's just like we have 8 to 20 character range, just like this one. Number of people on the US Olympic teams, number of seats in the stadium. And NP, NTM, is it? Or team numbers, teams member count, team seated in stadium, seated count. This one is okay. This one is okay. How about this one? It's okay, but when you find this, you may have no idea what is this variable represent in your program. And if you have some computed value qualifier in the variable name, just give us a total, just like total number of something, and sum of the seed count or something like that. The people who read your code can get better idea of what is running, what should be the proper operation for this variable. And you may not think this is important right now, but this suggestion will help you a lot. Why? Because it's easy to decide what is the better name. It's easier for transferring the knowledge across the project, because if you give a good naming convention, the other people who read at your code is they will be easy. They will get, they will understand your code easier without any needs of the explanation. If you could get a good convention and people who is experienced developer, they can get proper easier get easier. They will be easier getting to understand what you're trying to what you're trying to do, what your code going to do. And yes, you can learn the code more quickly and reduce the name duplication. You should reduce it if you have just like total point and point total. Which one you should use? Just to use one of it. Compensate for language weakness because you can easier understand what is the valuable to emphasize the relationship among the related item, because we have some just like this one, and this one is related, and if you give a proper name, you can share the multiple programmer can access it and can easier understand it. If you have a proper naming convention, it's easier to working as a team in the same project. And when you turn the program over to another programmer for the modification and maintenance, there will be easier. The program are reviewed by other programmer. It's easier to do that. And when the program is so large, you cannot use A, B, C. If you have a large program, this is proper to use the alphabet, just A to C and A to CC. Yes, you have a lot of viable name, but if not make sense, if you have 200 variable in your program, how can everyone remember what is it and what is going to do? You may have no idea what happened, and you may easily confuse and reuse it without any if you may reuse the same variable name, and that when you use the same variable name from different module, and when you integrate it together, you can easily get the error because the name is already declared. And here is the other naming convention for normally I and j are used for integer index, I, j, k, or something like that. P is a pointer in the C and C++ programming language. Constant high definition, and our preprocessor are in all capital letter. The class type name is in the mixed upper and lower case, and variable and method name is just like the lower case, something like this one. Start with lower case and capital case continuous, something like this. And that is, you can follow, this is simple code convention. And in some naming convention, you can define your own documented parameter, just like ch for character, doc for document, pa for paragraph, cell for selection. And if you gives that you decide something like this, just distribute this document to some of to the team so they can understand what is this abbreviation represent. And the name is some kind of the name to avoid, just a similar name with similar meaning, record name and num record. Different meaning but similar name, just like client lex or client labs, client record or client report. This two of this, maybe they're totally different meaning, but it look like the same. Just one character different. Can we use it? Yes, but when we use this kind of thing, when we have some kind of suggestion, sometimes the auto suggest is like that give you the proper naming that you select, and you have to when you do a programming, sometimes auto suggestion try to help, but finally they just replace some of your input character into the other type, and that's cause the error. So be careful with this, and try to use the different sound of your variable name, just like wrap and lab. It's okay, but when we make some communication with talking or discussing with teams, sometimes this kind of pronunciation is not totally correct for some people, and they may not understand which variable you talk about. And also numeral in name, just x, x1, x2, x3, x4. I don't know. Don't use this unless normally. Sometimes I use it. Sometimes I use it for testing, not testing, to check the which is that the error in the program. But finally, I have to remove this kind of x1 or x2, x3 out because we have no idea what should be what should be different between x1 and x2 or x and x2. Or if you prefer this, just make some comment to explain what should be for x1, what should be for x2. And try to avoid the word that are commonly misspelled in English, prefer, receive, conceive, or something like that, because yes, people, when we talk about the confusing word to type, when you do the coding, sometimes it's unintentionally wrong, or you have some typo in when you type the code. That is the thing that you should avoid. And make sure that just like some language, color, shape, or check for different US English, just like US English, Australian English, and American English. There are some word. There's this slightly different when you make a spell, but actually it's the same meaning. Just make some convention what kind of word you want to use in your program. And try to avoid using the name that are totally unrelated to what the variable present. And this one, I chart. What is different between the two of this? Because sometimes the I and the L, the big I, the capital I, the L character is different to recognize. Just like this one, TT. This is TT L or I. I'm not sure. TT I S, TT I or L S, something like this. It's very confusing. Try to yes, you can use it, but sometimes it's just like it's easier to confuse. If you have 3 of these variables in the same program, and don't know. For me, sometimes I get confused. Easier confused with this. This is a homework I will assign today. And then the artifact convention. What is the artifact in the software engineering? It's like normally you can call it a document or the output. Artifact is one of the tangible byproduct produced during the development of the software. It's this kind of function, architecture, or design, such like use case diagram, use case description, class diagram, something like that. It's concerned the process of development, just like project plan, business case, or risk assessment. It's an artifact, just like it's an artifact, but you can easier think about this as a document. So in some document you must have naming convention, because when you share all of these things over the project, all the people must be able to understand what is the name and abbreviation of the wording, or what is should be put inside the project. Just like this one, you have cursory to define what is inside, define the vocabulary, cost, GPA, total, AVG, ER, or transcript. This is something that should be input in the artifact to make the people easier to understand, and make sure that the folder name, the file name, the class name, and the method name is well documented in the document or in the artifact. And in most of the artifact, you must provide the data dictionary. We define the data dictionary to prevent the lack of language skill, expand vocabulary in the system or in your project. And try to check and remove the duplicated word, and define prefix and suffix and express the meaning, so we can share the knowledge across the domain. Just like this, we have some kind of what should be. We have, when we're talking about the book in this document, we think about represent information of the book in the library. The website is a website description within the project, and member and blah blah blah. You have to put input of all of this meaning to the glossary, the data dictionary, to when the people has the question, what is this, what mean, they can come and check into this glossary and the data dictionary, so they can understand what the project what is talking about in this project. And the naming convention, most of the document, most of the artifact must have some naming convention, just like this. This is a document type of synonym. URS, user requirement specification, is a software requirement specification, and blah blah blah. This is, if you have some this is URS, URS word, ADS word, DTS word. When you open the document, you may not understand, but you can come back to you can come back. You can check at the data dictionary and the document type synonym which is must be well provided in the document. And then when we create a document, we should create a milestone or the point to be delivered is defined as number. The first full digit will for is the first full digit is for the fully functional version, and the next two digit 0.1, 0.2 defined before start coding. Each subversion identify what should be, and it will be complete if all functions have been tested. 1.0 is mean all function of the software has been tested. And the number will look like this in most of the software. When you check at software version, we have a.bb.ccccc. So A is mean the main version, B is mean small version in increment, and C is small update, small increment. Just like we have 0.1, 0.0001 is mean some kind of developing, 0.3 developing, 0.95 developing. If we have complete, we have 1.0, we have release. 1.01 may add some function. 1.01.0001 is like add some small patch. And 1.02.000 is mean that the version we should add in some of the function. This is the convention for the naming of software version. Okay. And with the naming convention, we know where we are. We know where the artifact is, and easier to understand what is in the project. If you are from the other project, if you can read this artifact version. And this is all for the code convention part. And next week we will start with the software testing. Okay, and I will let you know whether the class will be in the morning or in the afternoon. I will check. I will ask you to give me a suggestion within today or tomorrow, and I will assign the schedule next week within this weekend. Okay, any question? Okay, if no question, I will upload this presentation and I will assign the homework and schedule and I will assign you the project within tomorrow, and you have to submit on the day that we make an agreement. Okay, if nothing else, I will stop the presentation, stop recording, and see you next week on the topic of software testing.